Over a couple injuries on who's not practicing.
Yeah, Melvin won't practice. Obviously, Calvin won't. Saubert won't. Um, Dalton won't, and Shelby won't. But I think most of those guys, not including Calvin, should be able to go tomorrow.
Melvin is the hip.
Yeah, hip and a shoulder a little bit, but a hip, yeah.
Then Saubert.
Ankle.
Do you have any more of a timetable on Calvin Anderson?
No, I think it's in that 2 to 4 range. So George is going to have to decide whether to put him on IR by the end of the week or not.
With Garrett Bowles, is he still in the protocol?
He is, but he'll be here tomorrow.
What's the status of his ankle?
We think good. You know, we haven't seen him since he tested positive. But we were planning on him playing last week before he did. So assuming we'll see when he gets here tomorrow.
When a player is away like that on COVID, do you guys leave him with instructions on rehab and rest for the ankle? What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, he's been in the meetings via Zoom. We give him instructions on rehab. He's told me on several occasions he's been working out like crazy. He didn't get sick at all, so we'll see.
Will Bryce start his clock today?
I don't think so, but maybe.
Where do you stand with Kareem Jackson?
He should be good to go. He's on here, but limited. He's going to practice today.
How did Teddy make it through the last couple of days with his leg?
Good. He's on here too. Actually, he's not on here at all. So that answers that.
How about Andy's offense where he's got a lot of motion, look over here, deception over there? Does that make it difficult to get your guys to stay disciplined?
Yeah. It's a difficult offense to defend by the design of it. Like things you alluded to, the motion. It's a spread out offense. And the guys running the offense are really, really fast. So you add those ingredients and then put Mahomes in there. You know, they're running similar offense that they ran with Alex Smith was there, but, you know, Mahomes is Mahomes, and that makes it a lot better.
When you've slowed him down, like, quote, does it feel like you've been able to have some success against Mahomes, or because they win?
No, I mean, we got to win the game, you know, and we haven't, you know, some of those games, like the first game last year, the stats looked good, but, I mean, they scored on defense, they scored in the special teams, the game got out of hand, so.
Mahomes has thrown a lot more interceptions this year than he has the past 2 years. What have you seen in his game that has led to some doing
Yeah,
that?
and they came early. You know, they haven't happened recently. So they got off to a slow start for them, and that's when the bulk of his interceptions came. You know, I've seen all their games, but obviously focusing more on the more recent 6 to 8, and they're not showing up like they never did before either. He's, you know, he was rare in that regard through his early career here, that bunch of touchdowns and hardly any interceptions like Aaron Rodgers. And then he had the start to this season, which was out of character for him, but he's back to normal.
They've shown more balance with the run game. Is that priority for you to try to make them one-dimensional? They've shown more balance recently in the run game.
Yeah. Everybody's been playing them so, you know, far back, you know, with the safeties and stuff, that the run is there for them. And they're actually calling more runs than you guys are seeing statistically, because they're calling runs that turn into passes with the RPOs. So Andy's really calling more runs that are showing up statistically because of the RPO throws that are coming. So they do have more balance. They got good backs. They've retooled their offensive line from last year, and they're really good.
Coach Reed said he wasn't all that aware of the current streak, the 11-game losing streak the Broncos have to the Chiefs, or in their case, the winning streak. Does that matter to you? Is that a point of conversation and motivation?
No.
Baron Browning's obviously been playing well lately. What are your hopes for him for the rest of the season? Like, what can he accomplish these last 6-7 games?
Just to keep getting better. You know, he's making small strides daily in practice, and hopefully those strides show in the games. But we're talking about a guy that didn't do anything until late in camp and then had some injuries. But he's working hard at it. He's spending a lot of extra time studying. He's prideful. He wants to do well. He understands the responsibility he has right now. And he wants to uphold his end of the bargain. And he's doing everything he can to do that.
Vic, he said he meets with you one-on-one a bunch.
Yeah, he does some.
How does that go with him? What do you like about meeting with a player one-on-one like that?
Well, I say, hey, what do you got for me? Questions, anything confusing to you? He watches a lot of film on his own. I tell him to write it down, what play he's talking about, or he'll text me and I'll look at it and get back to him. But yeah, 15, 20 minutes here and there during a day, and just go over stuff. And sometimes you fall into something where he really didn't. He thought he knew, but he didn't. And he didn't, to the point where he didn't even ask. Just kind of through the conversation, something comes up, and whoa, no. And he's like, So sometimes you fall into a nugget.
Vic, the numbers suggest that your running backs have been used a lot more in the passing game this year than they were a year ago. How much of that was by design? How much of that is kind of Teddy just being more willing to look for them as an outlet?
I think it's both. I think it's quarterback driven a little bit. It's play calling driven a little bit. I don't think it's any one thing. I think it's everything you mentioned.
You mentioned their offensive line and kind of their retooling. What have you made of that group, especially that they do have two rookies as their play, for example?
Yeah, they got two good rookies that are playing. They got Brown, who they got from the Ravens, who's a good player. Thuney was a high-priced free agent. They spent their money. They felt they had to improve that, and they didn't go halfway in. They went all in on it, and it's been reflective in their play.
Vic. Coach, you talked last week about the energy you felt from the guys as they returned from the bye. You have your finger on the pulse of this team. What's the energy this week? We all know what's at stake on Sunday night. What are you feeling thus far?
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, it's like somebody mentioned the other day, Sunday night is the game. So the players get amped up for it. So I don't think we'll have an issue being emotionally ready, besides playing the Chiefs, who have been the best team in football the last 3 years.
Vic, you mentioned Aaron Rodgers, who played twice a year for a bunch of years. What types of similarities, if any, do you see between him and Patrick?
They are similar because of their creativity, because of their ability to throw the ball from different arm angles, ability to throw the ball from different, where their feet are, and the accuracy and the quick release. They're very similar.
Vic, it seems like they both also, when they scramble, don't try to go out wide. They like to scramble kind of up through the middle. So what do you kind of
They do or don't?
do? They both like to, climb forward and
Yeah.
in that
Well,
sense.
I
What do you
mean,
tell your D-line in that sense? They don't try to go out wide. They try to.
I think they do. They do. They do both. If you leave the middle wide open, he'll take off. Like a lot of good scramblers that are good passers, they like to float either side and hope somebody comes open, and they're looking to throw all the time. But if you leave it wide open, they'll take off. And he's got 240 yards rushing or something this year.
From your experience,
What was your reaction to Surtain winning Player of the Week, and what sort of challenge does he have ahead of him this weekend?
I was happy for Pat. It was obviously I thought he deserved it. He's had a good season for us. Been a great pick for us. We're thrilled to have him. All good stuff. Our DBs have a big challenge. Our whole defense does. They got speed galore. They throw it deep. They run good after the catch. So, it's being all-day sucker for everybody on defense.
Coach, would you ever consider using Patrick Surtain on special teams or even offense?
No, not on offense.
Special teams?
Possibly.
from your
Would you use him
experience in
against,
What's that?
would you use him against Kelsey? Does he fit that profile?
Yeah, he could, but everybody has to be able to move around then.
from your
Last
experience
question, Andrew Mason.
from your experience in film study, what are kind of the best practices against Kelsey? Is it corner, safety, coverage, linebacker, some combo?
Yeah, it's a combination. When you get a tight end that's a really good receiver like he is, everybody automatically thinks, well, you got to put a DB on him. Well, they can outmuscle the DBs too. He's 260 pounds. So you have to battle that part of it. And then you put a linebacker on him, you know, you got a battle that this guy's real nifty and a good receiver. And what compounds it is the karma him and Mahomes have together. So it's just got to be a mix of guys.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
See you tomorrow.